People associate Christian maturity with the age in salvation, the activities or positions one is involved with in church, exhibiting lots of emotions or having supernatural manifestations. So what is spiritual maturity? Many think that by reading the latest bestseller books, or moving from conference to conference, attending many seminars, or being involved in many faith clinics and being prayed for by a supersonic man of God would make them spiritually mature. Ezekiel was one of the young people who was taken to captivity from Jerusalem. He was at River Kibar when he received a vision from God. Let us dive into the first point. Remarkable origin of the river. In this vision in Ezekiel chapter 47, he is seeking for the origin of a river. He is guided into the temple and he sees water trickling, like from a bottle underneath the threshold of the temple, so they get deeper. Many of us are contented by just knowing, but knowing alone is not enough. By knowing alone, we are eating from the tree of knowledge rather than the tree of life. We need to get deeper. In John chapter 7 verse 37, Jesus gives an imagery of the water to the Holy Spirit and says, "Let anyone who is thirsty come to me and drink." Your deepest need cannot be satisfied elsewhere, except from the source. The source is God. We need to seek and cling to God with all your life. The water from the altar flows into us, and becomes a life-giving river. This is a spirit-filled life with victory and abundance. God is calling us to His own presence. To live a Christian life by going back to the source. Let us go to the second point, which is, depth seekers experience the replenishing overflow of God. The waters flowed until it reached the ankle. Then it went up and reached the knee. It was knee deep. Later it was at waist deep. And finally it was a great river that one could swim in. We need to let go of the ground, and allow the power of the Holy Spirit to carry us along. When children play in a puddle of water, they become afraid, especially when the water is too much. They want to always be where their feet are firm on the ground. Some of us, like the children, are afraid of going deeper, letting the flow of God's presence to completely control us. The depth seekers move a little further until the river of God carries them along. Have you stopped too far when there is still a next level? How are you in your devotions? In your engagement of the gifts of the Spirit? In listening to the voice of God? How are you in your walk with the Lord? Let us ask God to show us His face, and His intentions for our lives. Finally, there is a reviving influence in the river. Even the Dead Sea becomes a life. There is a refreshing impact and a restoration. Fruits for food, and leaves that brings healing for all. Let us go for the depth. Let us empty ourselves and allow the river to flow in us. Let us also be the depth seekers.